Hi, I'm Donovan. I'm a fiction writer and a cultural fellow at GCU. This is part of a short series of wee videos designed to help support anyone who is writing or would like to write and might find a bit of encouragement and a few ideas helpful. It's very general, and as I often say, there are no rules about creative writing, so it's what works for you. The other two videos that I've done have been mostly to do with encouraging people and giving them some ideas to get started or to go on if they're a bit stuck. This video is looking at the situation where you've already written something. Maybe you've written a short story or a section of a piece of writing, and I'm looking mainly at fiction here, prose writing. And you're thinking about, how do I move on from here? How can I do some more work on this to improve on it? The first thing I would suggest is that you give any piece of writing that you think you've kind of got a bit finished, give it a wee bit of space. Just might be a few days even, or a week, before you look at it again in this way. It gives you just a bit of perspective. We can get very bogged down in what we're actually doing and very excited by it or frustrated by it. And sometimes if you just leave it, put it aside, do something else, come back to it, you find you see it with a much fresher eye. That's the first thing. The second thing that I would suggest, again in general terms, is that you read what you have written out loud. I know for some people they might think this sounds a bit weird, especially if you're on your own, reading something out loud and there are other people in the house, and it seems strange to do that. But it's amazing how clear it can be when you actually hear something out loud. If something feels a bit clumsy or a bit awkward, or it's not really saying what you wanted to say, hearing it out loud, it just emphasises it, and it's a really useful thing to do. Personally, I read every single thing that I write, that I'm working on, out loud at some point. Frequently, I read them over and over and over again till I feel that I've kind of thought it somehow. I understand what's working and what's not working. It's up to you how you do this. Some people do actually like to read it to another person, a trusted friend or partner or someone, and I think that's fine if it suits you. But I would suggest that you leave it until you've maybe done a bit of work on it yourself, and then someone else's perspective might be helpful. And always remember that everybody has different ideas, and it can be helpful, or you might not agree with them, which is fine. Also, some people like to record them reading out loud, but personally I think it's fine just to read it and hear it at that moment, but again, it's what suits you. So those are two quite general points about approaching working on what you've already written. Another idea that I think is really important when you look at the more specific aspects of it is the balance of dialogue and kind of narrative writing or descriptive writing in a piece of prose. There are no rules about this. You might have a piece of writing that's got virtually no dialogue in it, might even have no dialogue in it, or you might have something that's got lots of dialogue in it. And those particular extreme things might work perfectly well. But look at it and think about it and see, what is the balance here? Have I not put any dialogue in? Maybe I should. Have I got a lot of dialogue in it? And maybe there's something that I can do with that to balance it a bit. I think it's important to see how much dialogue can just bring something alive, and it can also just give us a real sense of character when we hear how someone is speaking. And that's another reason for reading things out loud, because you can really hear where your dialogue sounds natural. Does it sound how somebody would really talk? Or does it sound a bit stilted? It's okay if it's stilted, if that's how the character's talking. But if it just sounds a bit awkward because you need to do a bit of work on it, then reading it out loud will help you hear that very much so. To illustrate a little bit about what I'm trying to say here, I'm going to read just a very small piece from one of my stories. And this is not because I'm some kind of egomaniac that I'm wanting to have to read my own work. It's just that I would not feel comfortable to read someone else's work without their permission and their feeling happy about my using it in this way. And since I'm not really in a position to ask anyone else at the moment, I will just read a wee section from mine because it's easier. I know that I could read things, for example, of classic books, but what you often find again is that the dialogue of like a 19th century novel is wonderful in a 19th century novel, but if you're writing something contemporary, not really how somebody might speak today. So just read a very short section of this. In this story, the mum is taking her wee lassie, Amy, to see the Christmas lights in Glasgow, and that's all you need to know. They turned a corner and the cold evaporated. The square shimmering with light, brightness sharp against the gloomy street. Trees frosted with light, lights shaped into circles and flowers like the plastic jewellery wee lassies love. Lights switching on and off in a rhythm of its own, trying to look like bells ringing and snow falling, reindeers and Santas, holly, ivy, robins, all blazing with light. Amy gazed at them, eyes shining. Hold my hand tight till we get across the road. There's lots of motors here. Sandra pulled Amy close into her. They're lovely, aren't they? Uh-huh. Amy nodded. Can we walk right round the square? A tape of Christmas carols was playing on the sound system, filling the air like a crackling heavenly choir. Sandra and Amy joined the other families wandering round. Look at the reindeer, Mark. There's a star, Daddy. Check the size of that tree. Amy stopped in front of the big Christmas tree in the centre of the square. Can we sit down to look at it, Mammy? No, just keep walking, pet. It's too cold. I hope you can hear from that the dialogue adds something extra to the narrative. Even short snippets of dialogue, just wee bits of listening to what people have said, it adds something. It takes us into the place. It makes it a bit more vibrant and lively. Equally, a balance is good. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have everything dialogue, but it's useful to look at it and look at how the dialogue is working in your particular piece of writing, and is it doing what you want it to do for the mood and atmosphere that you're creating in your story or in your piece of writing. I hope that the ideas today have been a wee bit helpful to you in how you might approach or look at a piece of writing that you've done. And next time I want to do some more on exploring how you might develop your writing and work on it once you've got a piece of writing done. So enjoy your writing, and thank you for listening.